Join me today as I experiment with air plants. It doesn't really go as I planned, but it was fun trying. I saw these really cool hanging displays of air plants at Bach Tower, which is in Lake Wales, a town we visited a little while ago. And I thought surely I could make one of those at home and hang them from my magnolia trees. So this was my attempt to make those cool hanging spheres. The first thing we're going to make is a sphere for our hanging air plants. This is grapevine that I cut out in the yard, and it takes a little bit to work with this to get it how you want, so this might be the most time consuming. And I'm just wrapping and taking some wire and trying to twist it together. This is an experiment to see if this is going to work. I'd like for the grapevine to work. So this is my first time you're experiencing with me, and I am going to cut off these and work with this, see how it goes. So I have a circle here, and I'm going to use my wire and tie it up. And this is just florist wire that I'm using. You could use whatever you want. This is what I have. So I'm going to start with this and see if it's going to be strong enough to do what I want it to do. All right, so I've got my circle. Now I need to add another one. So here I have a sphere, and I need to fill it in and tighten it up a little bit, but that is what we're going to start with for our air plant sphere. I cut a third piece and I've made my sphere. Now I'm tying off the pieces together. This is 3 circles of grapevine. It's not exact, but it's a sphere. So I need to tie off the pieces so it's stronger. So I'm going to wire them together at each joint. So I got them where I want them. I'm going to wire each joint. Okay. So each of my joints has wire. So it's pretty tight and strong. And next we're going to come in and place some of the larger air plants. So this is ball moss. You can see this in the south in a lot of trees. You'll find it on branches. This is an air plant. Right here are the blooms. So this one recently bloomed and spread seeds. So I'll probably cut this off, or I might leave it. But the ball moss, they look sort of like a ball. Here's a nice one that was on a branch. Okay, ball moss. So this is going to be our first attempt at this using the ball moss. So with the sphere, some of them are on branches, and I kept them on the branch, and the branch might help us in placing. So we'll start with the ones with branches already. So I'll come in here and just see what this looks like. This will also help to place others. So I think that's a good spot. Now we have a tiny one here, and we'll save this to fill in. We have another one on a branch, and so we'll place this. Now I have extra wire, and I'm going to leave this loose to use it to tie in some other pieces. All right, so far we just have our 2 on here, and I know on this table it looks like a big mess, but we're gonna work it out here. So here we go. Here is where we're at. It looks like sort of a mess, but I think that's okay. I'm gonna keep at it and try to fill it in, and then I'll hang it so you can see what it looks like hanging. Now I know it looks a little brown right now, but then what I'm gonna do is spray it with water really well. A lot of these just went through a storm, and I pulled them up, and some of them have dried out. Some of them are green, but some are dried out. So once I start watering it and getting it really well watered, these can start growing and greening up again. And it's going to take it a while to sort of fill in and look like something, but I'm going to keep at it and see if I can fill it in and then show you what it looks like hanging. So here's the finished product. It's sort of ugly, but it was an experiment. And I think that the more that I work with it, the more I let it grow, it will fill in the sphere. I made it to hang, all right? So it would hang and fill in and grow. I made the sphere itself from grapevine that I got out in the backyard, and all of these came from my yard as well, all of the ball moss that I used. Now there's other moss that are different shapes, and those might work better, but I was starting with this large one. I probably should have started smaller, but anyway, I learned a few things. It's not as easy as it looks to do what they did at Bach Tower Gardens, but I'm gonna keep experimenting and see if I can find a way to display these beautiful things hanging from the trees.